In the late 1960s, a shadow fell across California, a land of promise and freedom. Beneath its golden sun and vibrant counterculture, a chilling fear began to take root. A predator was hunting, not in the wild, but among innocent couples, along quiet lovers' lanes, and even on city streets. He moved like a phantom, leaving a trail of terror and cryptic messages that mocked the world. He called himself the Zodiac. More than 50 years later, his true identity remains one of America's greatest, most haunting mysteries. The very air of the Golden State seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the next strike, the next taunt from an unseen monster. The nightmare began subtly, almost innocently, on a cold December night in 1968. Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday, two high school sweethearts, were on their first date, parked on a secluded stretch of Lake Herman Road in Vallejo. They were just teenagers, enjoying a quiet moment when a car pulled up behind them. What followed was swift, brutal, and without warning. Shots rang out, and their young lives were extinguished, their dreams shattered in the darkness. It was a senseless act, initially dismissed as a lover's lane murder, a tragic, isolated incident. But it was only the prelude. 7 months later, in July 1969, the terror escalated. Darlene Ferrin and Mike Mageau were parked at Blue Rock Springs, another popular lover's lane. Again, a car approached. This time, the assailant opened fire, unleashing a volley of bullets. Darlene died instantly. Mike miraculously survived, wounded but alive, carrying with him the terrifying memory of a shadowy figure. Just minutes after the attack, a chilling phone call reached the Vallejo Police Department. A calm, deliberate voice claimed responsibility for both the Lake Herman Road and Blue Rock Springs murders. The voice introduced itself, not by name, but by its chilling intent. The game had begun. Then came Lake Berryessa in September 1969. This time, the attack was more theatrical, more deliberate, a horrifying performance designed to maximize terror. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were picnicking by the lake when a man in a black hooded costume, adorned with a crosshair symbol, approached them. He tied them up with pre-cut clothesline, then with a knife. He brutally stabbed them multiple times. Cecilia died days later, but Brian, against all odds, survived, providing a harrowing account of the masked assailant. The killer even left a message scrawled on Brian's car door, the dates of his previous attacks and his chilling symbol. The monster was not just killing, he was announcing himself, demanding recognition. The final confirmed victim was Paul Stein, a taxi driver, murdered in October 1969 in the affluent Presidio Heights neighborhood of San Francisco. This was a brazen act, committed in a residential area under the cover of dusk. The killer took a piece of Stein's blood-soaked shirt, a macabre trophy, a piece of evidence he would later send to the press. The randomness, the escalating boldness, and the sheer cruelty of these acts plunged California into a state of profound fear. No one felt safe. Every shadow seemed to hold a threat, every stranger a potential monster. The killer didn't just take lives, he stole peace of mind. But the murders were only one part of his terrifying campaign. He didn't just kill, he wanted attention. And that's when the letters started. Beginning in August 1969, a series of taunting cryptic letters began arriving at the offices of the San Francisco Chronicle, the Vallejo Times-Herald, and the San Francisco Examiner. Signed with a distinctive crosshair symbol, these letters were not just confessions, they were demands. The killer insisted his messages be published on the front page, threatening more bloodshed if his wishes were ignored. The public, already gripped by fear, now found themselves unwilling participants in a macabre dialogue with a murderer. These weren't just letters, they were puzzles. The Zodiac included complex ciphers, promising to reveal his identity if they were solved. The first, a 408-symbol cipher, was cracked within days by a schoolteacher and his wife. Its message was chillingly simple, yet profoundly disturbing. I like killing because it is so much fun. It offered a terrifying glimpse into the mind of a killer who found joy in death, a stark contrast to the usual motives of anger or revenge. This was pure, unadulterated malice, but the Zodiac was far from finished. He sent more letters, more ciphers, each one more audacious than the last. The most infamous was the 340-symbol cipher sent in November 1969. For decades, it baffled the brightest minds in cryptography, a seemingly impenetrable wall between the public and the killer's secrets. It became a symbol of the Zodiac's enduring elusiveness, a testament to his twisted genius. The frustration of law enforcement, the desperation of cryptographers, and the public's insatiable hunger for answers only fueled the legend. Then, in 2020, after more than 50 years, a team of codebreakers finally cracked the 340 cipher. The world held its breath, hoping for a name, a clue, anything that would finally unmask the monster. But the message, once again, was a taunt. "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me." That wasn't me on the TV show, which brings up another point about me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner because I now have enough slaves to work for me. It was a cruel echo from the past, a final, mocking laugh from a killer who had vanished into thin air, leaving behind only riddles and unanswered questions. The letters were his weapon, his stage, and his enduring legacy of terror. With the letters and the murders, the hunt began, a relentless, decades-long pursuit that consumed countless lives and resources. The list of suspects grew long, a parade of individuals who, for various reasons, fell under suspicion. But one name rose above the rest, becoming synonymous with the Zodiac investigation: Arthur Lee Allen. He was a former elementary school teacher, a convicted child molester, and a man who lived in Vallejo, near several of the crime scenes. His physical build matched descriptions given by survivors. He owned a Zodiac brand watch and reportedly told a friend he wanted to kill people and call himself Zodiac. The circumstantial evidence against Allen was compelling, almost overwhelming. His handwriting showed similarities to the Zodiac's, though forensic experts could never definitively link them. He was found near one of the crime scenes, and his alibis for the murders were often flimsy or uncorroborated. Investigators spent years building a case against him, interviewing him multiple times, searching his property, and collecting evidence. He became the prime suspect for many, the face of the monster in the public imagination. Yet, despite the mountain of circumstantial evidence, the definitive proof remained elusive. No DNA match ever connected him to the crime scenes. Fingerprints found at the scenes did not match his. When Arthur Lee Allen died in 1992, he took any potential answers with him, leaving behind a legacy of suspicion and frustration. For many, his death felt like the ultimate taunt from the Zodiac, the final, cruel twist in a story already overflowing with them. But Allen was not the only one. Dozens of others were investigated, from journalists to military men, each with their own peculiar connections or unsettling coincidences. Richard Gaikowski, a journalist with a history of mental health issues, was another prominent suspect, his voice reportedly similar to the Zodiac's. Lawrence Kane, a man with a criminal record who worked near one of the victims, also drew suspicion. The theories were endless, fueled by public obsession and the desperate need for closure. Investigators dedicated their lives to the case, many becoming consumed by the hunt, their careers defined by the elusive killer. The Zodiac seemed to vanish into thin air, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions, shattered lives, and a mystery that refused to die. The Zodiac Killer may have disappeared, but his legend only grew, seeping into the very fabric of American culture. His story became a chilling cautionary tale, a symbol of the unknown, and a testament to the enduring power of an unsolved mystery. Films like Dirty Harry, released in 1971, drew direct inspiration from the Zodiac's taunts and methods, bringing the terror to a wider audience. Decades later, David Fincher's meticulous 2007 film Zodiac reignited public interest, delving deep into the investigation and the lives of those obsessed with catching the killer. Books, documentaries, and podcasts have since proliferated, each attempting to unravel the enigma, to shed new light on the darkness. In the age of the internet, the Zodiac pace found a new life. Online communities, amateur sleuths, and dedicated forums emerged, filled with individuals poring over every letter, every cipher, every piece of evidence, hoping to find the missing link. The collective obsession became a phenomenon, a testament to humanity's need for answers, for justice, even decades after the fact. The Zodiac became a touchstone for the true crime genre, a benchmark for cold cases, and a constant reminder of the elusive nature of evil. Today, the Zodiac Killer case remains officially open in multiple jurisdictions across California. Police departments still hold the files, the evidence, the hope that one day, new technology, perhaps advancements in DNA, analysis or forensic genealogy, will finally provide the breakthrough. The passage of time has not diminished the desire for truth. For the families of the victims, for the investigators who dedicated their lives, and for a society that still grapples with the chilling thought that a monster walked among us, undetected, and perhaps still does. Was the Zodiac a lone madman? A genius manipulator who outsmarted an entire generation of law enforcement? Or could he still be alive today, an old man living out his final years? Watching us search for him, forever shrouded in the shadows of his own making. What do you think? Who was the Zodiac Killer? Drop your theories in the comments below.